Ladies, gentlemen, and of course, everybody in between, welcome back. My name is Declan Cav, and today I'm going to be showing off this 2002 RAV4 EV, a car that not a lot of people know exists, but if you were a fan of the Out of Spec channels, you might remember from Out of Spec Renew, I did fix and film some videos on one of these there, but now this is my channel, and I have more to say, and also I can't be censored now. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you. No, don't stop filming. Well, on the Out of Spec channel, I showed off a stock RAV4 EV. This one has an upgraded battery pack, and also I've been daily driving this all summer, so I feel like I could say some things towards its weirdness and how it actually serves as a daily driver. Anyway, this car is very sticky. Like, I should have cleaned it before we filmed. Oh well. You might look at this and think that it's an EV conversion, but no, Toyota made this from the factory to be an electric car, long before the shit pile that the BZ4X was ever even a thought in their mind. They only made about 1,500 of these, but the history of these is long and complicated and has to do with the California Air Resources Board and government subsidies, and let's just cover all that in a section down the line. First, let's talk about the specs of this weird car thing that is just a gas car with a battery shoved into it. This is an unmodified RAV4 EV. Yeah, it's just kind of sitting in the bush over here, but it's a good example because the other one's modified. This one hasn't been touched in a long time. Anyway, this one has a 50 kilowatt, 190 Newton meter permanent magnet motor under the hood. It's weak, it's slow. That's it. It's weak and slow, but it works, I guess. The difference between this one and this one is not just that this one has been sitting in a bush for a while. This one has the factory battery pack, which is a 27.4 kilowatt hour nickel metal hydride battery that's good for about 95 miles of EPA estimated range, which I found to be pretty true. These nickel metal hydride cells are really solid. They last forever. I mean, there are still RAV4 EVs in existence that are running their original batteries just fine. This one, however, has a slightly upgraded battery pack. It now runs a 60 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery that gets it realistically about 170 miles of range, which I found to be pretty true. I mean, it doesn't need that much. I don't know why anybody would ever want to go 170 miles in one of these things, but I've done it. It wasn't great. It's loud, it's slow, and the radio sucks. The CD player skips? I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah, the CD player skips if you hit even the slightest bump. Yeah, not a good road tripper, but I guess it can do it. I keep telling you these cars are slow, but I haven't given you a real number yet. Well, a friend of mine from Tello has a real race track timer. And so we took this car out to the highway, completely legal, and did a 0 to 60 run. Take your guesses now as to what that 0 to 60 run was. 20 seconds. Well, 19.3, but it was 20 seconds. These things are very slow, and that was at 100% SOC with a professional race car driver behind the steering wheel. Yeah, they're slow. This looks very similar to the gas-powered RAV4, and that's because it essentially is a gas-powered RAV4 with an electric drivetrain just kind of crammed up into it. But there are a few distinct things that set it apart from the gas-powered version. That's one of them. On the rear here, where you'd find the gas cap on a normal RAV4, you have this vent that says electric vehicle on it, just in case you forgot that this is an electric vehicle. They don't let you forget that. This vent is for the climate control for the battery pack. This is an exhaust vent, because unlike the first generation Nissan Leaf, this thing actually cares about its battery's thermals. Up here at the front, it looks pretty normal, but underneath the grille is a charge port. From factory, this would have had a MagnaCharge port, which was Toyota's inductive charging system that a lot of other cars at the time used. But because this had a new battery pack installed, it also had new chargers installed in the form of a J7072 port. This makes it a lot more convenient to charge, but it keeps the same charge rate of about 6.6 kilowatts, which is about what I had from the factory. So slow, but it gets the job done. The last major difference is here on the back, where on the gas-powered version, you'd have a big spare tire mounted to the rear door. But on the electric version, it's mounted underneath, and it's a donut. Now, I've seen people speculate as to why this might be. The biggest theory I've seen is that it's for aerodynamics. However, this entire car is shaped like a brick on wheels, so I don't think that's it. I think it was probably cost cutting because Toyota was already taking a loss on this car, so they were probably trying to cut corners wherever they could. So, yeah, those are the differences. Not a lot. You really can't tell unless you know what you're looking for. I'm cutting this part out anyway.
In the mid-90s, the effects of climate change were clear, and in major cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco, the smog produced from tailpipe emissions was becoming unmanageable. To combat these issues, GM began work on a production electric car, the first electric car to be produced by a major manufacturer since the 1920s. In 1996, General Motors released the GM EV1 to the world, a modern electric car that got 80 miles to a charge and had zero tailpipe emissions. The EV1 was a hit among consumers who could actually get their hands on one. The release of the EV1 inspired the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, to enact the Zero Emission Vehicle Mandate that required all automakers selling cars in California to produce a zero-emission vehicle. The automakers did not like this, but many complied. Ford came out with the Ranger EV, Honda came out with the Honda EV+, and in 1997, Toyota came out with the RAV4 EV. The RAV4 EV took the standard gas-powered RAV4 and added a battery pack from Panasonic and an in-house motor. It was originally only available for fleet buyers, but in 2003, the last year of its run, they opened up sales to the general public. The RAV4 EV had an MSRP of $42,000, but qualified for several government incentives that brought the price down to about $29,000. The RAV4 EV was highly popular, and Toyota sold or leased all 1,900 cars that it manufactured. Suddenly, now being forced to produce an electric vehicle, GM executives went, wait, that's not what we meant. Actually, nobody wants the EV1. Several car companies alongside large oil companies sued the California Air Resources Board in an attempt to get rid of the zero-emission vehicle mandate. Due to cowardice and insider trading, CARB discontinued the zero-emission vehicle mandate. Following this decision, automakers were no longer obligated to produce zero-emission vehicles, and despite large customer demand, most EVs disappeared from the market. Many of the early EVs were recalled and crushed due to several factors, which included big oil companies purchasing the rights to the battery technology. Chevron bought the patent rights to the nickel metal hydride cells used in the RAV4 EV and several other EVs. Chevron then closed down and dismantled battery assembly lines to drive the nail into the coffin of the electric car. Anyway,
First off, can we acknowledge how massive this opening is back here and how low it is? This is a great car. They should bring back this form factor. Anyway, I daily drove this thing all summer for 3 months, and inevitably stuff went wrong, so let's talk about that. The first thing that went wrong is the battery died. So I replaced it with this, and then it died again. This thing eats 12-volt batteries, I don't know why. Anyway, after that, it got a flat tire, so I put 4 new tires on it, good to go. That's not the car's fault, they were just old tires. Lastly, there was one time where it went into turtle mode and reduced propulsion power, but then fixed itself 2 seconds later. It never happened again, and I was never able to replicate it, so, I don't know. Edge case? Who cares? It's fine.
So, what's it like to drive the RAV4 EV? Well, I kind of have already said it. It's slow. That's it. It's actually quite a nice car. It works very well as a commuter car. You know, I take the highway every day, and, well, it takes a while to get up to 60. It does eventually get there. It has pretty good power steering, although it's kind of heavy. Power brakes are fine. The one complaint that I do have is that it doesn't have cruise control, and also it doesn't have one pedal drive, which is not surprising. It does have B mode, which I assume is for braking, but it's so janky. I'm going to try to show it off here in a minute, but it doesn't work well. So now I have the car in B mode, which is supposed to be maximum regenerative braking, but if I take my foot just slightly off the gas, oh, there it is. It kind of acts as an on-off switch, where if you even slightly take your foot off the gas, maximum regen, and it doesn't bring you to a full stop. It's very hard to control and just very jumpy. But I guess you can't expect much from a car from 2002. Other than those weird quirks, though, it drives really nice. The radio kind of sucks, and like I said earlier, the CD skips. which I didn't know was a thing that could happen, but this thing manages to do it. Overall, this car has saved me a lot on gas, and I'm so grateful to the owner, shout out Billy Caruso, for letting me use this for the entire summer to commute to my job at Tello Trucks. Honestly, I really want one of these now because it's honestly just been a great daily driver. I have zero complaints, well, aside for the terrible regen braking, but what are you gonna do?
That's going to be it for the RAV4 EV. If you've watched this far into the video, thank you for watching first off. If you hang out for just a little bit longer through this rant, there's some S10 Electreks over there that I might show off. But I just wanted to address real quick, I've rebranded the channel. I've changed the name from Electrek Garage to Declan Cav, and that's because I want to move away from doing solely automotive content. Of course, I will always do automotive content on this channel. I love EVs. But I also want to do some general electronics projects. I'm making robot pigeons. That's kind of my entire motivation behind the rebrand. I really like pigeons. They're kind of my favorite animal. But yeah, stay tuned for some more of that kind of content, but also more automotive content. Let's go check out some S10 Electreks. This is Billy Caruso. He's the one who loaned me the car for the summer.
This is Declan, super cool. I love watching his videos, and I really support him and all his work with the EVs. So thank you.
Thank you
for caring about these cars.
Yeah, I didn't crash, so
helping us keep them on the road.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a video working together when we actually start working on these.
Yeah.
Moving out here full-time December, and we'll get these things
That's
going.
lit. Yep.
It'll be a good time. All right, as I promised, we're watching the entire video. Here's the two S10s. Also, sorry, I already put my expensive camera away, so phone camera time. But these are two S10 Electreks. These, again, are factory electric vehicles. You know, not conversions. These belong to the person who loaned me the RAV4, Billy Caruso, shout out.
Pop the hood!
Yeah, the plans with these are to put two new battery packs, very similar to what the RAV4 EV got, so that these will have, I don't know, close to 200-mile range and make them practical, little more range than a Slate, you know?